After King Gojong died, King Gojong took the throne in early 1864. At that time, he was only 12 years old. So his father, handsome Taeyeon became the regent to rule the country. 3 years later, when Gojong was 15 years old, Taeyeon decided that he should get married. So Taeyeon selected the 16 years old Min for him. Queen Min was born into the aristocratic Min clan in 1851. After marrying Gojong, she was still diligent in learning new things, especially politics. When she turned 20, she began to be active in political affairs. However, that made Taeyeon unsatisfied and they often had conflicts. After 5 years of marriage, Queen Min gave birth to their first son. Unfortunately, he was a deformed child. Taeyeon publicly criticized Queen Min for failing to bear a healthy child. After a few days, the poor child died. Queen Min accused Taeyeon of killing her son by putting the wild ginseng in his medicine. Therefore, their relationship got even worse. Queen Min felt the need to set up her own political power against Taeyeon and to restore the power to King Gojong. She began to secretly form a political group against Taeyeon and sought to remove him from power. She gathered the relatives of Min clan and a court scholar to demand the resignation of Taeyeon. Finally, in 1873, when King Gojong was 22 years old, Taeyeon was forced to retire and to give the imperial power back to Gojong. In the next year, Queen Min gave birth to the second son. He was then appointed as the crown prince. Since then, Min had clung to the control of power and had great influence over Gojong's political decisions. When Taeyeon was still the regent, Western nations had made a lot of unsuccessful attempts to trade with Korea. After he was removed from power, Queen Min encouraged King Gojong to change the isolation policy. She was active in opening doors to foreign countries and accepting Western culture, hoping to make the country wealthy and powerful. In light of Korea's political changes, Japan attempted to open Korea faster. In 1876, Japan dispatched a gunboat to survey Korean coastal waters. The two countries conflicted in Kanhwa Island. After the incident, Korea was forced to sign the first unequal treaty with Japan. Korea had to open port for Japanese trade and to grant Japan many trading privileges. In 1881, Queen Min began to modernize the army and set up a new military unit trained by the Japanese. But this caused discontent among the old army. In the next year, the old army rebelled and turned to Taeyeon. Taeyeon then took the control of the old army. They attempted to kill the Japanese training officers and ambassador. Japanese legation was destroyed. Japanese diplomats were forced to flee the country. King Gojong and Queen Min also escaped and hid in the villa of the queen's relative. Queen Min decided to seek help from the Qing Dynasty of China. To maintain their interest in Korea, China agreed to help. They sent thousands of troops to suppress the rebellion and to restore the rule to King Gojong and Queen Min. When the order was restored, Japan demanded for compensation. They forced Gojong to sign an unequal treaty, Treaty of Chemulpo. It permitted Japan to have army in Korea to protect its legation and community. When Queen Min noticed that, she also gave China the same privileges. After the incident, some progressive officials wanted to accelerate the westernization of Korea and to get rid of China's influence. In 1884, they started Capsin Revolution and invited Japanese army to the palace. Queen Min requested help from China again. The revolts were quickly suppressed by China's army. After the incident, to prevent any more conflicts in future, Japan and China signed Tianjin Convention, agreeing that both nations would pull their army forces out of Korea. Neither nations would send troops to Korea without prior notification to the other. While Korea was under strong influence of Queen Min and her clan, they were being widely criticized for political corruption, such as selling political positions to make money and extorting the money that should be used to pay the soldiers' salaries. Queen Min was also criticized for wasting a lot of money. At that time, Korea's annual revenue was 4.8 million Korean won. But Queen Min once gave 1 million Korean won to an American missionary as a wedding gift, which was 1/4 of the annual revenue. In 1894, due to the long-term discontent towards the government, a group of peasants and followers of the Tonghua religions started a revolution. Once again, Queen Min requested China for help. China then sent in troops to suppress the revolution and notified Japan as agreed in the Tianjin Convention before. Japan took the opportunity to send in its army as well to protect its community in Korea. Later, Japan suddenly requested Korea to have internal reform. They quickly captured the palace and demanded to overthrow the power of Queen Min. To fight for the influence over Korea, there was a huge conflict between China and Japan. This led to the First Sino-Japanese War. The battle has lasted for 9 months. Finally, China lost the war and was forced to sign the Treaty of Maguan to recognize the full and complete independence and autonomy of Korea. Queen Min lost the hope and confidence in China. To contain Japan, Queen Min attempted to bring in Russia. She introduced a strong pro-Russian and anti-Japanese policy to prevent Japan from further advancing into Korea. Japan was well aware that their aggression into Korea would be easier without Queen Min. Therefore, they planned to assassinate her. On October 8, 1895, 40 Japanese assassins came to the palace to murder the queen. Queen Min changed into the court lady outfit and hid in a room, but she was eventually discovered and was killed in the palace. There were rumors that Queen Min didn't die in the assassination. In 1896, a few months after the incident, a German ambassador to Russia posted a report that Queen Min was still alive and she was trying to escape to the Russian legation. A British consul general in Seoul also reported that on that day, 3 to 4 court ladies pretended to be Queen Min and were killed. The real Queen Min was managed to escape. She took refuge in Russian embassy with King Gojong and continued to live secretly. The appearance of Queen Min was still unclear. According to some foreign missionaries who met the Queen before, Queen Min had a wide forehead, a pair of half-moon eyebrows that were pointing upwards, a pair of thin almond-shaped eyes, and a pointed thin nose. There were several photos claiming to be her. This photo was introduced in 1905 by Underwood in his book. The author described it as a Korean woman in a suit. In fact, it was just a photo of a court lady. This was misrepresented as Queen Min for a long time. The second photo was published in the Illustrated London News in 1894. She was a Korean woman wearing curly hair and holding a fan. However, it was only the photo of another court lady. Wearing pants under the skirt was also not the appropriate clothing of a queen. Lastly, this photo was from the book The Spirit of Independence in 1910. This picture was used as the official photo of Queen Min in some other books and magazines, but historians argue that due to the fact that the person in the photo was wearing a very plain dress, she could not be the queen. Therefore, until now, none of this photo was confirmed to be Queen Min. Queen Min was a controversial figure. She was criticized for making Korea fall into a battlefield by bringing in foreign powers in the absence of strong internal power. But we could not deny that Queen Min was worthy of respect. She made use of the struggle between foreign nations to fight for the independence of Korea until her very last moment.